Hey guys, my name is Game Advisor, and today we're going to be going over some Terraria advanced tips. Now, most of these tips are intended for mid to late game use, however, they could all still be useful even in the very early game. So let's go ahead and jump into it with number 1. So first up on this list is going to be to make one-way walls. Now there's a lot of different uses for this, but the way a one-way wall works is you're gonna take some platforms, put them up against a wall, and then turn them into stairs with a hammer if they don't already convert into it. Now, once you have those stairs, you're able to walk through the side with the stairs on them. If it does not have the stairs on that side, you cannot. The main reason I like to have this is so that when I want to build a small little base for, say, the nurse or the dryad somewhere near a boss arena, enemies cannot get in, or I can spawn inside that room, but I can only leave that room and not re-enter, and therefore the enemies can't attack me when I first spawn in. Second on our list today is going to be to make a Gravedigger shovel. Now, I actually didn't know about this item until relatively recently, so I'm really glad that I found this tip. The way this works is you need to make yourself a graveyard. In order to do that, you're just going to get like 5 or 6 gravestones. You can always jump off your house if you don't have a lot of HP in order to actually get those gravestones. Then you can pick them up with a pickaxe, make yourself a little underground graveyard, and boom, there you go. Now you put a crafting table and an anvil down there, and with some iron and some wood, you can make yourself the Gravedigger shovel. This item is useful all the way into super late game until you usually beat the Moon Lord or happen to find something even better. You're still of course going to need your pick, but the nice thing with this is the Gravedigger shovel is actually going to be able to mine a 3x3 block area as long as they're soft blocks. So it can't mine stone or ore or anything like that, but you can just go straight down to hell very quickly with this shovel, and it's very easy to get very early on, so would highly recommend this. Third on our list is to find caves with the question mark tool. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about here, there is a way that you can check to see if a room is viable for a NPC to live in. The way you do this is you're going to go to the little housing symbol on the bottom right corner, click the question mark, and then you're just going to go ahead and click to see if the room's viable. What we're going to be using this tool for is to find caves. How we're going to do that is we're simply just going to use it, and then we're just going to spam click in the darkness to see if we see any of the text in the bottom left corner change. When it does change, that means that there is a cave there, and now you know which direction you want to mine. This saves you so much time trying to find caves and find ore and chests, especially in the early game before you actually have ways to get over there super quick anyways. So I would highly recommend you guys use this one, as I do with essentially all of them. Number 4 on my list is going to be mass producing weapons. Now, what we mean here is that you want to mass produce weapons if you have an excess of resources or the resources are very easy to come by. The reason for this is you can keep making that weapon over and over again until you get a good stat roll on it. For an example here, you may just get a basic one with bad stats, or one with a small buff. But if you keep spam making it, eventually you're going to land on a godly version of that weapon and maybe get an extra 15% damage or whatever other different perk that you get that is something you're satisfied with. This can make early game bosses and late game bosses so much easier, because if you think about it, 15% damage can shave off about 15% of the time it's going to take you to kill it. Alrighty, so now we're going to be moving into the second section here, which is going to be dealing with stuff that usually relates to boss battles or boss arenas. And the first one we have here at number 5 is going to be to use sunflowers for its speed buff and reduced spawns. Of course, you can use peace candles for this too, so if you guys do want to do that, you can. If you don't know, sunflowers do have to be planted on grass, so you're gonna have to place some dirt blocks, and then you're gonna have to actually put grass seeds on it from the dryad, or let the grass manually grow on it if you're too lazy, and then you can put the sunflower down. The radius is actually really large for this one, and it does give you a minor speed buff, but more importantly, it will reduce the spawns of enemy NPCs while you're in the middle of fighting those bosses. I usually just shove these all around my base just to reduce spawns so I don't have to deal with things while I'm at home. Alrighty, so number 6 is going to be to move NPCs to your boss arenas. As I'm sure you've already all figured out that you need to make boss arenas for especially some of the late game bosses, you're gonna want to be able to use those NPCs while you're there and use their passive buffs. Especially early on, the Dryad is super useful as she gives you an 8 armor buff, which is a flat 8 damage reduction for every single hit you take. When you have low HP, that 8 damage could easily save you 2, 3, 4 hearts over the course of a fight. So I would highly recommend you move the Dryad, and if you can, you're gonna also want to move the Nurse so you have an easy, quick way to heal, as well as a bed into the area so that way you're able to actually get all those while you're in the middle of fighting a boss. Now for number 7, it's really simple, and that is to place heart lanterns and stars in a bottle anytime you're planning on playing in that area for a while. Heart lanterns will give you a +1 health per second bonus, so that's going to be really useful for you, where star in a bottle is going to give you some form of mana regen. I don't actually know the exact number, but if you do plan on playing any form of mana based class, having that star in the bottle is really easy to make. It's literally just a bottle and a star. And as far as the heart, once you have your max HP, you use a heart and some chains in order to actually make the heart lanterns. Then you just place them down and boom, you've got yourself some more HP. That is going to add up to several more HP over the course of a fight. After that, coming in at number 8 is to use honey as a buff as well as campfires. Campfires are very self-explanatory and probably the cheapest buff that you could put anywhere you want. All they do is give you more health regen, but the honey on the other hand gives you a very high amount of health regen. The only downside is when you walk through it, you're going to be slowed. The best way to deal with this is going to be to use the bubbles from the party girl if you have that NPC in your home. Otherwise, you can just throw it in like a 1 block by 1 block on the ground or a 2 by 1 block and just run through it. The nice thing about the party girl one is you can have it actually floating in midair. So as you're running away from a boss or jumping around through the arena, you could have these layered around in different places and just quickly tap through it and boom, you've got some more health regen. And that buff lasts for 30 seconds, so you don't have to go back to it except for once every 30 seconds. So I would highly recommend you use this. It'll make your late game bosses and mid to game bosses much easier to deal with. Alrighty, so coming in at number 9, our final tip today is going to be to use stations such as the Bewitching Station, Crystal Balls, Sharpening Stones, and of course your ammo one. Well, each of these are going to do is give you different buffs. The Bewitching one is going to give you +1 summonable minions, so there's really no downside to that. If you can summon anything, you might as well pop it and get some extra damage out. Then you have the Crystal Ball, which is going to have magic damage, max mana, mana regen. Everything magic related is essentially going to be increased, so there's no reason not to do that. You can buy that one from the wizard. Then you have the Sharpening Stone, which is also something that you can buy from one of the NPCs, or you can find it yourself if you want. And then what the Sharpening Stones allows you to do is increase the damage you're going to do with melee weapons. And then you have the Ammo one, which is going to allow you to conserve 20% of your ammo anytime you fire a shot. So if you fire, say, an arrow, you have a 1 in 5 chance of just not consuming that arrow. Especially with the high tier ammo, this can be super useful and save you tons of work having to go and farm stuff. Alrighty guys, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys who do watch our videos. If you want to see more content like this, do subscribe to the channel. We make tips videos, we make review videos, we make guide videos. We do everything we can to help you guys be either better at games or know if you should even spend your money on them in the first place. So if you do like this kind of content, again, do subscribe down below and smash that like button. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.